Ryan Walters here with Paul Neat at Seoul World Cup Stadium. Paul, this is not exactly how we thought things were going to go today.
No, I thought it'd be 2 goals.
We did.
But I thought it'd be shared. And they weren't. It was 2-0 to FC Seoul.
Yeah, a very surprising performance. It was 2-0 at halftime after, as we would all expect, a defender getting the brace the first half. I don't think that scoreline necessarily reflects how complete a performance this was for FC Seoul today, though.
It was comprehensive.
Yeah.
It really was. It could have been 3 quite easily. There were chances for that third goal. It never quite came to them, but more importantly, they didn't like conceding it either.
Yeah.
So we're very resolute at the back. They looked calm. Mm-hmm. And when they were under a bit of under threat from Pohang, they got the ball and they didn't panic.
Right.
And they passed it out, and they just looked really assured.
Well, we talked about this a lot during the game. We talked about it a little bit at halftime, but this finally looked like a team with an identity.
It did, yeah, finally. And they had purpose about them, conviction, and it's quite shocking, actually, compared to what we saw last season, anyway.
Yeah, they looked like they cared.
Yeah.
And that's something that, we didn't see that a lot last year. We especially didn't see it at the end of the year last year when all they had to do was not lose to Sungju and they wouldn't have been in that promotion relegation playoff, and they just didn't have any spirit, and I think that was a lot of what was so impressive today.
Yeah, they looked like they knew what to do when they got the ball. When players like Go Johan and Park Ji-young as well. Park Ji-young had an excellent game.
Really did.
By the way.
Yes.
He's often been one for come on and try and score the Hollywood.
Yeah.
He tries to shoot from anywhere, but he didn't do that quite a lot today. He would spread the ball out wide. He knew where the wing backs are going to be, so when he got the ball centrally, he spread the ball out very well, and they looked like they had a pre-season together.
Yeah.
Which last year you couldn't really say that.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that the time that they've had on the training pitch has been well spent.
Indeed, yeah, and this year one of the other things coming in is that there's a new rule in K-League. Instead of an under-23 player, it has to be an under-22 player, and for Seoul today that was Yoon Jung-gyu, and we were pretty impressed with him today.
Yeah, he finished last season playing right wing back. He's kind of broke into the team. Mm-hmm. And with FC Seoul using that wing back system, it's obviously a very important position for them.
Yeah.
Ko Kwang-min making his return after a 2-year absence on the left-hand side, but Yoon Jung-gyu was excellent. He had pace, he cut inside a few times, He looked very composed for a young man, and it bodes well.
Yeah, another young man that did well today was Ali Bayev, got his debut in the midfield. Thought he looked strong, also just not afraid to shoot the ball at all.
No, he in the early part of the second half, he looked like he was really determined to get on the score sheet. He perhaps ought to have done.
He really should have.
There was a nice little cutback from Park Ji-young, and it landed really nicely for him.
Yeah.
And he went for the side foot, and it was a bit underpowered, went straight at the keeper. But if he'd have put his laces behind it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one, though, that I think that really speaks to how well Park Ji-young played today, because not only was he there for a lot of the goals, we're going to get out of the way as a car comes by in the background. Not only was he there to score and to potentially score and to be dangerous going forward, but he set a lot of people up today. It just, much like the team in general, was a performance that we just haven't seen from him, a spirited performance that was really, frankly, it was just nice to see FC Seoul care.
Yeah, it was a good performance, and they haven't won until today since 2010 on the opening day. So already the atmosphere around the club I think was already feeling quite good.
Yeah.
Now they've got that win, then it bodes well for next week.
And we do have a leaf blower coming by soon as well.
Which is what you need.
I think they're going to stay over there for the most part. But anyway, before we get back to FC Seoul, and we will touch on them one more time, Pohang today, our own Dan Croydon tweeted this out, and it is very, very true that they really look like the 2018 Jeonnam Dragons. Didn't have a lot of cohesion, didn't have a lot of ideas moving forward. They had a Wanderson on the team. They had the same Wanderson with them, Wanderson Carvalho, who I thought looked okay today, but Pohang just looked all sorts of out of sorts today.
Yeah, essentially they weren't at it. Whether you can say it's down to Colin Chapman leaving or not, it might be a bit too simplistic to say that, but without that screen in front of the back four, when Yoon Jun-soo came in and he's been the man tasked to do that.
Yeah.
But centrally, they got overrun in midfield. The individual battles weren't won.
Yeah.
And they never looked like they could get the foot on the ball and really stick a hold in the game at all.
Well, and so many times last year we watched Pohang play, and Kim Sung-dae just took the game over, and he was everywhere. And today, you really had to kind of look for him at times, just because he wasn't playing as strong as you would expect. So one of the very few things that we got right in our preseason predictions. A lot of us expected Pohang to take a little bit of a dip this year, and again, it's one game in week 1, so it really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But it does look like they are set for a dip if they can't pick things up from this. But moving back to FC Seoul, speaking of teams that didn't necessarily look strong in week 1, they have Sungnam FC next weekend, and if you're going on week 1 form, that it looks like Seoul's going to be off to a really good start.
Well, if they can play any like they did in the first half today, especially, then it could be 2-2 for FC Seoul next week. And you know, Songnam, your first league game back in K-League 1, away to the team they finished second last year. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But they didn't look at the races then, and they're going to have to. Well, also they're going to have to expect a reaction.
Right. Playing
in front of your own supporters. You have to expect something from them, really.
Which really could buoy them. I mean, this could be one back in K-League 1 where I would argue they belong, and they are going to be playing at home against a rival. So it could be one where Sungnam comes out really strong, and we'll be there. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
But other things going on this weekend in the league, happy to not have a 1-1 draw for myself personally. Saw that on Friday in Jeonju and yesterday in Incheon. But I think there were some surprising lineup choices this week, but was there anything else in week 1 that really kind of surprised you?
It surprised me, but it shouldn't do. The K-League is still as unpredictable as ever.
Sure is.
Whether that's the scores or the team selections, I think it's proven already that we can expect a season where it certainly will not be dull.
Yeah.
So it's been a good first weekend of the season, and we hope it continues in the same vein.
We've learned once again, never try to predict K-League 2.
Don't try to predict the whole league before you've even seen a game.
Yeah.
But hey, we tried.
Yeah, and we did just have a comment come in. That it was a good start to the season. Was it well attended? There were 15,000 plus here, which isn't great for FC Seoul in the long run, but after the season that they had last year, I think 15,000 is a pretty good mark today.
Yeah, and if they had back-to-back home games, then we might be able to see the benefit of the performance. But they are at home in 2 weeks, at home to JG United on the Saturday the 16th. Saturday game probably a bit better for attendances than Sunday, and you would certainly hope that after today's performance, like I said in the video we did before the game, if they start well, not only is it good for the team to get off to a good start, but it gives the fans a reason to keep coming back. So hopefully, for a fan's perspective, that's what we've seen.
Yeah, and I think folks are going home happy. We can still hear the supporters in the north end. They're out there still singing and having something to celebrate for the first time in a long time for FC Seoul, which is nice to see here. But that is it for us from here. I believe there's still a little bit of Seoul Eland and Gwangju FC going on, so get us out of your faces and get that in your face real quick. But we are going to have a podcast this week talking about the 5 things that we learned from week 1, which I think it's just 1 through 5 is don't predict K-League 1, don't predict K-League 2, don't predict K-League 1, don't predict K-League 2.
I think there might be a lot more than 5 things that we've learned.
Yeah. So if there's anything you want us to go over for the podcast, we will be doing that this week. We will be at El Juego Pub this Wednesday watching the AFC Champions League, which gets underway this week as well. All sorts of things going off here at the beginning of March. But for now, we are going to get into the tunnels and try to get some interviews and just get a little bit warm because it got cold at the end.
Bit chilly.
My hands. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you again soon.